All right, folks, welcome to episode 1 of the Very Shooting Podcast. I'm your host, Brennan Brennick. I own a training company called Gateway Defense, which, if you're watching this, you probably already know who I am. And you should be familiar with my co-host, which is
Justin Anderson. I am a shooting coach. I own a company called A-Train Performance. I teach people how to get better at shooting.
It's very good. Very good.
And I make videos on the internet.
We're both content creators, GMs.
Don't call us content creators. That's
we're very content
very
creative.
cringe. Very cringe, Brennan.
Well, you know what? I just have to embrace where I am in life.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, we're just basically two guys who like shooting very much. We used to be training partners until I moved away and left Justin to his own devices in the cold, frozen tundra of Wisconsin. And I moved back down to South Carolina, which is much better for shooting in the winter time, I will say. Except this year, oddly, we got much snow. It's very bad. But yeah, so we used to be training partners for 4 years, right? Something like that. Pretty crazy. Yeah. All the way from when we were A class up until Justin made GM, and actually we both made GM when I was still in Wisconsin. So pretty cool just to have kind of tracked our shooting journeys together. And since then, even back when we lived in Wisconsin, both of us, many phone calls, pretty much weekly, talking about whatever it was that was on our mind with shooting or training or practice or a match or something we saw on the internet, just kind of whatever it was. And we have often said that it would be great to just make this into a podcast, our phone calls, basically. So we'll try to be a little less unhinged as we are in podcasts and maybe talk a little bit less about building a business out of nothing, and hopefully more things that are interesting to you guys. But I know you guys have asked for kind of the Gateway podcast to come back. That'll still probably exist on the side, but I think these will be more frequent, much more often, and a little bit shorter as well. Just jump on here, talk about a topic that we have in mind, and jump off, and hopefully bring these episodes to you guys as often as we can.
Yes. So what are we talking about today, Brennan?
So today we're talking about something that is very good. We're not going to talk about any sort of training or skill development because, that's not what we do. On this channel, we talk about gear and we talk about new things.
Da-da-da.
In this case, we're talking about the very, very good Smith & Wesson M&P M2.0 Metal HD. Very long name. But we're talking about the steel frame M&P, guys. So I've had this gun for a couple of weeks. You've had it for a month? And some interesting takeaways, I would say, from this gun. Long time user of the M&P, for what it's worth for me.
How many rounds? How many rounds do you have through the M&P platform, Brennan?
Well, it's very embarrassing because I say the round count and then I wish I was much better at shooting. Do you know what I mean? I used to think that was a badge of honor, and then I was like, wow, I should be many-time national champion, but I'm not. On the M&P, to my approximation, I am well north of 300,000 rounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
So just a small mortgage worth.
I quit tracking rounds at $250,000. But I know I keep buying ammo and keep shooting. So anyways, very many 6 years and 300,000+ rounds. What about you?
Wow. How many guns is that across?
Oh, it's a lot. 8. 7.
Oh, I thought that's actually less than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like a dozen.
No, maybe 7, I think, actually.
Okay.
Or 8. I don't know.
Okay.
But it was getting to the point where I was wearing out. Well, this is actually relevant to the conversation. I was wearing out the frames from many dry fires, many reloads, hitting the side of the frame. It's very thin on the sides. Yes, very thin, very, very polymer. very
Very
chunks,
polymer things.
very chunks out of it. And so yes, I would kind of wear out a frame and buy a new gun. So, anyways, how about you? You've been shooting the M&P for what, 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah. Oh man, now you're putting me on the spot. 20. Man, I actually don't. Yeah, it's for sure 3 years, maybe 4. I can't
Yeah.
remember. But
Yeah.
I have just a measly little 60,000 rounds.
You know what?
um,
I'm gonna kick you out of the studio, and I'm just gonna talk about M&Ps.
yeah, I mean, you have more authority than I do.
I'm also very
Um,
worse at shooting.
well, yeah, I mean, well, there's that. But yeah, so a couple different MMPs. Bought this steel frame, and I have about, I don't know, close to 2,000 rounds through the steel frame now. Brennan, we both made videos about it.
Yeah,
So go
go
check
check
those
that
out.
out. I'll try to
YouTube
link it
videos.
in the corner or whatever if I can figure out how to do that. I'm very illiterate, but
Yep.
I'll see if I can try.
So yeah, it's let's talk about kind of initial thoughts. So we both have a significant time on the polymer guns.
Yes,
We both use the 5-inch variant for like competing, training, teaching, all that good stuff. You even carry a 5-inch, don't you?
I do every single day.
Well, no, I'm
Some
talking about the gun.
oh, yeah, 5-inch also. When I'm very spicy, I take off the weapon mounted light. When I want to shoot bad guys with one hand only. Justin is just, he thinks he's very funny. All right. Well, while he recovers, I'll say
Sorry.
5-inch barrels are actually the average. All right. For USPSA.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I daily carry the a 5-inch variant. Have done that for 3 years, 4 years now. And I have the 4 1/4s, a couple of them. I just don't prefer them. I don't prefer the recoil impulse. And I don't know. We've been kind of tracking the striker fired pistol game pretty closely, mostly because of USPSA, I would say, and just kind of interested in the new stuff that's coming out. A number of years ago, the Canic rival steel frame came out, and that kind of, I think that was a first of its kind in terms of striker steel
Yeah.
frame. And honestly, that gun shoots very good. Some ergonomic things I don't like about it.
Yeah.
The other contender was then the Q5 steel frame from Walther. That was kind of pretty hot topic for a while.
I think the Q5 came out before the before the
You're
the
actually
Canic.
right. I
Yeah.
believe you're right. Yeah. That
The
gun had a lot of
Q5 has
things
been
going
around since
for
like
it.
2017, I think.
Yeah.
2018
Long time.
maybe.
Long
Yeah.
time. And that gun did have a lot of really good things going for it, I will say.
Mhm.
The removable grip panels,
Yeah.
it was very heavy. There's some things I didn't like about it, big old beaver tail, things like that. And
Yeah.
the grip was very short. I remember that as well. Like the grip was super short. You would like pinch your pinky when you go to reload it. And for a full size gun, that was just, I don't know, it was kind of weird. And then the Walther PDP steel frame came out, and that kind of really took the shooting world by storm, I would say. Has a lot of really good things going for it. But I actually own one, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. And was basically like, got it and was going right back to my polymer M&P for matches and things. I was really hoping I would love it. And then the steel frame M&P came out, and I mean, spoiler, right? I love it. I think it is super, super awesome. Feels like an M&P, looks like an M&P, talks like an M&P, whatever, right? Like it feels like the same gun that I've been shooting for 6 years, but just upgraded, I would say. Like it's heavier. And the recoil impulse is a lot better. And we can talk about what that means, because I know you have a similar experience with it. But what's your experience with like steel frame or metal guns before this one?
Okay, so so first off, it's very important that people understand that you have to distinguish the difference between steel frame and metal frame, because people
Oh,
say,
yes.
"Oh, it's a metal frame gun, bro. Like, why not go with the metal frame gun over the polymer?" And people don't seem to understand. Maybe not so much people in the competitive shooting space, because the people in the competitive shooting world, like, they're in the know, right? They get it.
Are you saying they're
Well,
better?
they are better. They're better. They're
Oh,
very,
okay. All right.
very very
I'll
good at
bleep that out.
shooting.
I'll bleep it out.
So
No worries.
so right, like when people are like, "Oh, metal frame guns, that's what you want," right? I prefer metal frame guns. It's like, okay, well, are you talking about steel frame or aluminum? Because those are two very, very different things. And so
Yes.
the MMP metal has been out for what? I don't know, a couple years now, 2 years, three
Yeah.
years,
Yeah. Hmm.
something like that, right? And when it came out, I actually don't remember. I want to say, yeah, that was before I even owned an MMP, right? I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
3, 4 years
Yeah.
ago. I don't even remember, but
Yeah.
it
Around
was
the same
somewhere around
time.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember, I do remember the comment section in the post where it was like, "This is what nobody asked for." An aluminum framed striker fired gun. Now, I will say, metal frame guns, aluminum frame guns, they feel great. They look good, right? Because it's metal, right? Metal just it's better quality than plastic. It feels better than plastic, whatever. But the problem is aluminum is not really heavier than polymer, like very, very little, right?
Hmm.
And so when you're shooting like the metal aluminum variant of an MMP, and this is like one of the biggest questions I got in my last video, where I was like, "Oh, why not the metal over the polymer?" And it's because, first off, because it's aluminum, you don't get any of the weight benefit of metal, but you get some of the cons of metal. And so the con of metal, and some people really disagree with this, and that's fine. I can't really prove it other than just my personal experience or by feel, but I have enough rounds on plastic guns between CZ, P10Cs, Glocks, and now MMPs to know that when you're shooting a polymer gun, there's got to be some sort of flex in the frame. There has to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
And so, right, just because like it's very high dense, polymer, very strong, whatever. But when you're shooting it, right, there's got to be a little bit of flex in the frame. And so when you have an aluminum frame, you're eliminating that flex without the weight benefit of steel. And so you're kind of getting like it's a bad combination. And so
It's the
I
worst
have
of both
found
worlds, basically.
exactly. And so I have personally found, Brennan, it was actually your competitor that I did this with. We did on the Gateway Defense channel several years ago. We did a video comparing iron sights and red dots, and it was using the
Hmm.
competitor. And so we both put several hundred rounds in that session alone. It was, I remember both of us, we shot a lot that night. And
Yep.
then like we were comparing it both side to side, and it was like, I remember looking at you and I was like, "Dude, am I tripping here? Like this thing feels
Hmm.
like noticeably snappier than my polymer." And then you shot it
Hmm.
and you were like, "Bro, I feel the exact same thing." So, anyways, not going to go into any more detail on that. That was long-winded, but like, yeah, I just think it's important people understand that the metal HD, the steel frame,
Hmm.
very different
It's
than
very
the aluminum
different,
frame. Very
and
different.
the key thing there being is it has enough weight and heft to it to actually soak up the recoil,
Yes.
because the snap of the gun has to come travel back through it, through the frame, through your hands and things like that. And so I think felt recoil is a very big deal in shooting.
Hmm.
And it's not something that you can really quantify. It's not like, oh, you can measure how much the muzzle flips or something like that. It's just basically a feel thing.
Hmm.
But I think that most people would be able to, at least describe the differences in felt recoil, from gun to gun. But it does come down to some personal preference. I know guys who prefer the aluminum frame
Right.
MMP to the polymer, and that's totally fine.
Right. It's like
Um,
guys preferring the 4.25 inch to the 5 inch. Like you and
for
me are
sure,
both like, how could you prefer a more violent feeling gun?
right?
But like Donovan Moore, right? Buck Lawler, like those guys, like, well, Donovan used to. I don't know. I think he's a 5 inch boy now, but
Oof.
they used to, they were like, hey, I really prefer the faster, more violent recoil impulse, and I'm just like, that's
Yep.
crazy to me. But guess what? It's not, it's not slowing them
Yep.
down at all.
And
So
even like with Glocks, like the Glock 17 and the Glock
mhm,
47, they have different recoil systems in them.
mhm,
And even though they look basically identical, and people will have very strong opinions about the differences in how they feel when they shoot. So,
mhm,
anyways, personal preference is going to play a lot into this podcast and a lot into like kind of what we're
yeah,
talking about tonight. But so just keep that in mind.
mhm,
With a steel frame, I was really, really, really hoping for a couple of things. So, number one, I was hoping that they would um, keep the M&P DNA. Does that make
mhm,
sense?
yep,
Like I wanted it to look like an M&P and feel like an M&P. When I pick it up, like I wanted to not have to learn like a new platform or have to grip the gun differently or anything like that. I wanted it to be the same. Okay.
mhm,
Because I love the ergonomics of the MP. I would not change them at all. There's other things I would change, but I would not change the ergonomics. But I also was really hoping for some things that it doesn't have, and maybe we could talk about that. I think the biggest contender right now in the space that this gun will kind of go head to head with is going to be the steel frame Walther, this bad Larry right here. Would you agree with that? I mean,
yeah,
this thing
for
is
sure.
is super popular in performance shooting
Yep.
now.
It's marketed to the
Um,
same people in the same market looking to do the same
100%.
things. Yeah.
100%, right? Like it's not trying to be like your new duty gun
Right.
necessarily, right? Like this is a performance gun, but in a striker fired kind of variant.
Mhm.
On paper, this gun looks great. It actually
Mhm.
looks fantastic,
Yeah.
just by
Very good
itself, I
looking
think.
gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
But on paper, the benefits that this thing has going for it, I think it really has a lot going for it. The weight is very good. It's over 40 ounces, I believe, 42, 44, something
44.
like
Yeah.
that, which is very good. I think the grip is also quite good, especially when you can customize it and put like these, like I have these palm swell bogies from Lock Grips, very, very good products from Lock. And that really fills my hand extremely nicely. The trigger is very, very good. So, like, this thing has a ton going for it. But my experience has been when I shoot it, I don't like it. Like, I don't like the
Mm,
recoil impulse of the way this gun like feels.
mhm,
It's very, very muzzle flip, very recoil. And even though it is super heavy, I feel like it hits my hands super hard, kind of like the aluminum competitor does
mhm,
for the M&Ps. I know you've had a little bit of time on the Walther as well. I know some of your students have used them and things like that.
mhm,
What's your thoughts on it? Because like I got this and my intention was run this in USPSA for a season, like in limited optics, and really like give it a good go and see how it holds up over a year. And I didn't even do that because I
mhm,
just did not prefer it like at all to a plastic 5-inch M&P. What are
mhm.
your thoughts on this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've had similar experiences. I've had multiple opportunities to try the steel frame PDP, and for what it's worth, like I'm not crapping on Walther like as a company. I love Walther. Chris over there, Walther is great. He's a friend of mine. But specifically with like the PDP, I've never been a fan of the platform just in general. I've had a
Yeah,
lot of students have PDPs like in class and in training, and then they like the plastic variant, and then they'll try an M&P, and then they're like, "Whoa,
yeah,
that feels great. Like that
hmm,
recoils so much less, right?" And I just think it's just due to the design. And so when you put that into a steel frame, it's good, right? Like the steel frame helps with it, but you're still getting some of the flaws, at least in my opinion, some of the flaws of the design. And so,
yeah.
like you
And
said, like it's
the steel
heavy
frame is much better than the polymer
for
in terms
sure.
of like
Yeah.
recoil impulse. Yeah,
Yes. But you're getting the weight, right? 44 ounces, 45 ounces, whatever it is. And so, like, in your mind, you're like, okay, this is hefty. It's going to soak up recoil. It's going to feel great. And so I've had multiple opportunities to shoot it. And every time I've shot it, I'm like, man, I'm personally just not, I'm not digging this thing. It's not speaking to me. I don't like it very much. And then when you bought one, I remember we actually like I shot like 100 rounds, a couple mags worth, billet drills, and some accuracy stuff. And I'm just like, I need to get a feel for this thing, right? I don't want to judge it off of like, a billet drill, whatever. So I shot like 100 rounds, and I've officially decided I'm not a fan. Just the way recoil is. And I think it's because a lot of the weight is in the wrong places.
Yes.
Personally, that's once again, like, it's my personal preference, my opinion, but I think the weight, and just the design, it's very, I think it's very Boraxis. I think the height, the actual height of the slide and the bulk of the slide and the way that the way it's designed, I just think that kind of contributes to the muzzle flip and the perceived recoil that we're feeling. And,
I
it's
think
it's
a lot of the weight on this too, if you look at it like this, what is this called? Like the pick rail, dust cover,
Mhm,
whatever. It goes all the way to the end of the gun, which
mhm,
looks very good,
mhm.
right? I think it looks a lot better than this,
Yeah.
right? But I do think too much weight out front is bad. Like weight up front, in my experience, doesn't keep the muzzle from flipping a lot.
Mm.
It just adds more like oomph when it comes back.
Bounce. It's like bouncy.
Yes. Yes.
Very
Which is
bounce.
not good. It's very it's very unpleasant. And yeah. So I don't know, man. And also if you take the grips of this gun off, like this the actual grip of this gun is just a bare skeleton.
Mm,
Like it's not very heavy back there.
mhm,
And obviously the M&P is kind of like that as well. But what we're doing is we're adding the steel grip plugs and brass grip plugs that you could put into the back of this. But even without it, this gun feels way more balanced in the hand.
mm.
Like I can kind of even just open my hand up and it just sits kind of right in here where where the weight transfer should be, right? Um,
Yeah,
so I think that has a lot to do with
yeah.
how the gun returns. So I know we've each done videos about it. If people want to watch our videos and kind of see our thoughts on it, they can. But anything that you would share in terms of your actual shooting experience with this gun that maybe people wouldn't get, or you just want to reiterate outside of that video you made?
This gun, full price, mind you. Bought the steel frame M&P, assuming I was not gonna like it. Like, I remember I even texted you. I was like, "Bro, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like this, but I have to give it a shot. Like, I gotta
Yep.
try it because it's what we've been begging for years. I have to get one, right?"
Yep.
And so I, like, straight up was like, "Okay, I am gonna do this." And then I put the first mag in the gun, and I shot, like, the first couple of rounds, and I was like, "Okay, that not bad." And then I shot another 100 rounds, and then another 100 rounds, and then, like, 1,000 rounds, and I'm like, "Okay, I like this thing." And the reason I like it is because it truly feels softer.
Yeah.
I feel like it's giving me a lot of the the benefits that you would expect out of a heavier competition gun, where it's like it's softer, it's more pleasant, and it returns to where you're aiming, right? Sooner, more predictably, with less muzzle rise, less dot movement. Like,
Would
that's
you
what
say
I'm.
less muzzle rise is the key to softer?
Yes. At least for me. Yeah. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, everyone talks about, hey, having a flash shooting gun is not what's important. And I agree, right? Like, having a good grip structure does not necessarily mean your gun is not going to recoil, right? Like, what you want your gun to just return consistently and predictably. But guess what? If your gun recoils less, your eyes are going to see less perceived dot movement, and you're going to have less temptation to want to control the gun and muscle the gun and push into the gun and do stupid things,
Hmm.
right? So,
You
like,
you can shoot a flat gun. Like you could shoot a gun flatly improperly, right? Like there's people who can shoot a gun, it looks like it's just a sewing machine, and their groups are all over the place. Like the return is not very precise. But as long as you are doing the right things to make the dot return precisely and quickly, and you're getting less muzzle rise, it's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And and that's the thing, right? Where it's like it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? It's like, yes, when you're teaching grip, right, in a class, the goal is not have a super flat shooting gun, right?
Right.
But I think what people have swayed like the other way, where it's like, yeah, well, you don't need a flat shooting gun. It doesn't matter. It's like, well, well, then why do open guns have comps and all this other stuff to it? Like, no,
Right.
having a flat shooting gun absolutely is helpful, right?
Yes.
And so like with a steel frame gun, that's what I'm hoping for and looking for, is that I want it to be heavy enough to soak up the recoil and have less dot movement, less muzzle rise, and have a softer, perceived recoil impulse.
Yes.
And I find, and the reason for that is not necessarily for close range targets, right? 7 yards or 10 yards. It's for the 25-yard shots, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
think our videos, and especially mine, where I directly compare my steel frame to my polymer with drills, bill drills, and stages and all this stuff, I really started to see a difference at that 25-yard mark, and even like 15 yards too. I know we were talking about this not too long ago, where it was like, dude, I'm shooting like 20 splits at 15 yards, and I'm only throwing like a Charlie or two on a bill drill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shooting almost as fast as I can at 15 yards, which for me, maybe my fundamentals are just not as good as they should be with a polymer gun. But like with a steel frame gun, I'm like, I can't do that with a polymer gun. Like
Right.
I will definitely be throwing 50% Charlies at that point, right?
Yeah.
But with my steel frame, it's like, man, I feel like I can get away with more, right? I can actually push it.
Yes.
And then at 25 yards, it's like, man, I'm really starting to see the impact. And so then you apply that to something that you see at a nationals match, which is a 25-yard partial or a
Mm-hmm.
35, 40-yard open target. That's where you can start to actually gain some ground, where someone like Christian, right? Christian might have his shadow 2 and split a 35-yard open target with 0.3 splits. And I might do like 0.5 or 0.6,
Mm-hmm.
which once again, he's getting alphas, I'm getting alphas, but he's getting, 0.3 to 0.5 seconds on me in a single split. That's crazy, right? That's
Yep.
craziness.
And that's not to be confused. It's not just because he's shooting that gun, right? Because many people are shooting the Shadow too,
Right.
right? But it's when you have an extremely high level of skill, right? The um the more you put into the gun, the more you get out of it, right? Like the better your skills are, the better, results you're going to get. And I think that it just gets like magnified with a better piece of equipment, something that's a little bit higher speed. I'm also finding that um like changes in my grip pressure basically are not affecting the gun nearly as much, right? So what I would find is, and again, you're not going to see any of this stuff inside of 10 yards, guys. But when you go out to 25, I was even shooting at some at like 35 yards. Um, when I shoot the polymer gun, any little change that I make in my grip, in terms of like grip pressure and where I'm squeezing and how I'm squeezing, affects the dot like a lot. And I can
Mhm.
tell that even when I'm just trying to get the dot to just chill in the middle of the target so that I can pull the trigger again. Like anything I do pushes the dot around.
Mhm.
I see that a lot less with the steel frame. Like when the dot comes back, there's just not so much, wiggling around in the A zone. It's there. It's just kind of sitting. It's just kind of chilling. And all I have to do is prep the trigger and fire again. Right. And dude, honestly, I'm not going to say it's a game changer, but it's after spending so much time on normal polymer frame, like duty style handguns, dude, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, like I said, it was huge for me, dude, because I bought it. Once again, I paid full price for it, like a normal person, expecting not to like it.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident now that it is definitely my new match gun for the 2026 major match season. And I'm very excited because I'm also getting another one. And I'm gonna have a backup completely cloned to this
Hmm.
one, and that's gonna be the standard. So I bought the competitor, and then I'm getting the standard as well. So that way I can kind of compare both of those, because that's a question that I think we've both gotten to, is like, is there a difference between the competitor and the standard version? It's like, I don't know. I haven't compared both. Hunter said that they're not really any different, but I mean, you start taking weight out of the slide, like it's probably going to be helpful. On paper, right? That's one of those things where it's like, okay, just because it's on paper does not mean that it translates to real world results and what you feel, right?
Yep, 100%. Couple of things. Okay, so let's talk about what we really like about the gun, and then see if there's anything that you would change. So I think we like the same things. I think the biggest thing is we like that it feels like an M&P, I would say. Feels like home. If let's say this thing went down at a match and I just switched to a polymer backup, like I don't feel like that would affect me much at all in terms of like throwing me for a loop. It wouldn't throw me for a loop at all, which is why the transition over to this thing has been also very easy. So I think the fact that it feels like an M&P and retains that M&P DNA, number one thing. I think that both the competitor slide and the standard slide, like literally just has pretty basic serrations. And nothing like super crazy on over the top, but they do wrap around the top just enough. Like I think the manipulations are better than the other guns, like the LE slides and stuff like that. The grip texture is not better than the polymer, but it's a lot better than the aluminum, and it's good enough. Definitely good enough. The front strap texture here, they actually upgraded. It's much more aggressive now. I like all of those things. Like that stuff is all really good. I like that it also takes your slides from your other M&Ps as well. Like it's still compatible that way. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else other than that you really particularly like?
Yeah, I mean it's similar on the competitor slide, right? Like these serrations, because they're actual lightning cuts, and there's also like just very specific cuts on the slide. So the
There's like a little
manipulations are very
ridge on them too, right? That kind of
yes.
grabs.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
hard to see on camera here, but I
Yeah.
really would love if they had serrations on the top. The top is where I really want them, right? Because like especially for an unloaded start, which once again, like this gun is marketed to the competitive shooting world. Like on an unloaded start, I even with chalk, even with front serrations, I have slipped enough to induce like a misfeed, and you go to tap rack, and then you induce a double feed, and then I mean that happened at Care Optics Nationals. You remember that stage? Like I
Very
was ready to
much.
freaking crush that stage, and I feel very confident in my unloaded starts, very fast, and I literally did that because my hands were super sweaty and I slipped, and that was on this gun. That was on this gun that has top serrations and side serrations. And
Yeah,
so now
it's super easy to do.
it's super easy to do, and you wouldn't think so. You're like, oh yeah, it's front serrations. That should be enough.
Yeah, 100.
Sorry, I muted my mic there, but I can tell you as a competitor, you want as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
So that would be one thing for sure. Like even on the competitor to get serrations on top there. Honestly, like other things, I'm a little torn about the weight, right? So like getting Hunter's brass backstrap in here or the calculated kinetics Paragon steel insert is something that we both did, something we like, because that is something that I think should be included for this, right? I'm not going to disassemble my handgun on camera here.
Nope.
However, as you can see, like it's just a skeleton back there, and it normally has just this plastic insert. And I would say that this needs to be steel or brass or something, right? Probably steel, just because they're already manufacturing this out of steel. So I would say, hey, can you maybe save us from having to spend money on getting $100 grip or something in order to make this a little heavier in the right spot? You were talking about balance earlier, right? Where it's like, I don't necessarily want to just beef this whole thing up to make it 50 ounces. I want to
Correct.
strategically add weight, right, to the spot that we want, which is low and in the back of the gun, the grip of the gun, right? So I would say, hey, adding that would be a really nice touch and kind of prevent people from having to spend another $100 to get this where they want it. But honestly, dude, I don't really know if I'd do that much more to this thing, because I mean, I feel like the weight is really, really nice because it's enough to soak up that recoil, but it's not heavy enough to really change like the draw just absolutely, crazy. It's not a significant change in the draw, at least for me. What have you felt a pretty significant shift in the draw or like transitions or anything like that, like handling of the gun?
Yeah. So in terms of like the mechanics, I do notice a difference for sure. I would not say it's a significant difference though. Like I notice a difference in transitions, like 100% I do, especially in dry fire. And mostly I have to use a little bit more oomph on like an exit, like pushing the gun off the target. And I have to hit the brakes a little bit earlier because this thing carries some momentum, especially on like wide transitions. I was dry firing a bunch of really wide transitions the other day, and it's not like harder or easier. It's just different.
Mhm.
Um, and then with the draw, I do notice a difference. I think that um, I really have to make sure that I'm kind of like pulling my elbow back when I draw this gun now, versus the plastic gun. It just kind of like we were talking about this on the phone the other day, just kind of flies out of the holster.
Mhm.
This thing, I feel like you have to like pull it out of the holster a little bit. But
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of adjustment. I don't think it's really gonna slow me down. It just maybe I have to put a tiny bit more effort into it.
Mhm.
I don't know. Has that been pretty much the same for you?
Yeah, I mean, so like in my YouTube video, I'm doing designated target, and I'm trying to like I do one shot draws, and the performance I did not really see much of difference in, and that could potentially be I'm not going fast enough with my polymer gun. I guess that's always a possibility, but
Maybe.
I personally did not really feel like there was much performance difference, but I did feel the nuance of it, right? Like there's so much. What does Hutter Freeland say? There's just so much in the nuance. I forget his term. I like his term that he says about it, but um, it, with us having so much intimacy with the polymer guns, yes, I definitely feel it. And on wider transitions, it's like, okay, yeah, might need to give it a little more oomph, but it's very, very subtle, at least for me. Um, but I just like it. One thing about the draw that's interesting is I feel like it settles into my hand a little easier. So,
Hmm.
like, on a like a hybrid scoop draw or the scoop draw that we do, right? Like, with my polymer gun, I get 99% consistency, 98% consistency on my draw with my polymer gun. However, every once in a while, I do adjust it mid draw. Like, when I go to marry up my
Hmm.
hand, my support hand almost, like, cinches my dominant hand into where it needs to go. So, it's like right out of the draw, my dominant hand's not exactly where it needs to be, but my support hand cinches it together. When I draw my steel frame, it's almost like it just settles in more consistently because it's heavier, and so I have to like it's really hard to describe it. I sound like a retard right now, but yeah,
No, I get it.
that's kind of been my experience.
I get it. No, I get it for sure. Like it's all very subjective. It's all very based on just your experience. But I totally get it. Overall, like basically this gun shoots way nicer.
Mhm.
It's like shooting a porta gun, right? It just has less recoil. The dot still tracks exactly the same as I'm used to because the grip is the same and I'm putting in the same my hands are in the same place on the gun. I'm putting the same pressures in the same places on the gun.
Mhm.
But dude, like at distance, same experience as you. I'm just not having to do as much. One thing that I do with my polymer gun is I feel like I have to like really work hard at stabilizing the dot in the A zone to like get it to stop moving or you know move less. And with this gun I feel like I don't have to do as much of that because there's less bounce when the dot returns,
Mhm.
and also some very small changes in my grip on the gun don't affect the dot on this gun nearly as much as on my polymer frame,
Yep,
right?
for sure.
So like sometimes, and I think this is important for people to know, like mid-string of shooting, I will often adjust my grip, right?
Mhm.
Because I'll feel it starting to do something that is not good, or I start seeing my dot do some behavior that's not correct. And so
Mhm.
I'm making very minuscule adjustments. It might just be something where it's like, oh, strong hand needs to clamp front to back. That works out really good for me. Or it might be support hand needs to torque into the gun a little bit more, right? Whatever it is, I'm feeling that when I make those tiny, tiny changes, it affects the dot a lot less. The dot's
Mhm.
just not misbehaving.
Mhm.
I guess is the only way to say it. So I think that's a big change. That's going to be a big difference at distance. I'm excited to
Yeah.
shoot some majors with it, like with some difficult targets. Um,
Mhm.
Speaking of distance, let's talk about the barrel, the accuracy.
Yeah.
That's a big question people have had, and I know
Mhm.
we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. But let's talk about the barrel quick.
Yeah, before we dive into that, I just want to reiterate what you were just talking about. It's
Okay.
exactly what
Yeah.
Brantley Miriam said when he went from the Shadow 2 back to Glock. Is he said one of the things he loves about Glock, and I totally understand now that I have a steel frame, where he's like mid stage, my Glock will tell me if I'm not doing something right. Like it is within one or two shots that you know exactly what is happening. Your gun will speak to you very, very bluntly, right?
Yes.
And he likes that. And now that I'm shooting a steel frame, it's like I kind of like that as well. It's not that I like it more than a steel frame, but it keeps you a little more honest, I think, where it's like right off the bat, if something changes mid stage, right, a 20-second stage, like by 7 seconds, 8 seconds, you do a reload, you're thinking about something else, and all of a sudden your dot starts going crazy. Immediately you're like, oh, correct. Like, do your job, sport hand, stop being dumb, right? Whereas a
Yep.
steel frame gun, I feel like there's maybe a little more forgiveness there. So that'll be interesting if we can kind of apply those same, that same conscious effort towards our grip with the steel frame and get good results. But
Do you think if
um
we train with the steel frame a lot, like train and compete with it a lot, that will be worse on the polymer guns?
I hope not. I don't know for sure. I think it's
Yeah.
possible. I think it's possible to get lazy for sure.
Yes.
But you see Christian shooting a Shadow 2, and then he goes over to a Glock and he crushes with a Glock. So
Yes.
it's like, okay, the whole argument of like, training on a race gun, is it detrimental to going back to a normal gun? Like it can be, I think, for sure, but it also doesn't have to be. So I don't know. I,
Correct.
I think I think we'll find out in the next 12 to 24 months, after we have some serious time, tens of thousands of rounds on the steel frame, and then kind of going back and forth. I think because like my
I think if you're
polymer MMPs are not going anywhere. Like
correct.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah, no. And I think the thing that I would say is if you're shooting and gripping and doing your fundamentals correctly on the steel frame on a nicer gun, it should not degrade your skills on the polymer gun. Right. But if you do find yourself getting lazy and you're doing less and less, and that doesn't mean like your recoil control is less because I have to do less to this gun to make it return, like
Hmm.
straight up, right?
Hmm.
But because of that, I want to maximize that and get more performance, not get the same amount of performance for less effort, put the same amount of effort in, and get more performance.
Right.
I think that's kind of the key. So,
Yep.
okay, barrels. Let's talk about barrels because accuracy on M&Ps is a very hot topic. I'm actually willing to talk about this for a little bit.
Mm.
Accuracy on M&P is a very hot topic. Many people just absolutely just shitting all over the accuracy of M&Ps. We've talked about this before, you and
Yes.
me. Guys will hit us in our DMs and be like, dude, I bought an M&P because of you, or I bought an M&P because I watched you and Justin and Donovan's videos or whatever. They're like, I can't wait to shoot it. I'm just waiting on M&P barrels, the Apex barrels to be back in stock, and then I can't wait to go shoot a match. It's like, what? Like, are you waiting to upgrade the barrel or change the barrel so before you shoot a local indoor match? Like, what the
Yeah.
heck? It's like
Yeah.
it's so crazy to me. Um, First of all, you made Grandmaster stock barrel. Yes.
Hmm.
Did you have majors on your classifier record when you made GM? I'm sure you
Um, I
did.
I don't think I did actually.
Don't think you
I
did?
don't
Okay.
I don't I don't think so. Maybe one. Maybe one.
Okay. Okay. Well, but you were shooting majors before you put Apex barrels in, right?
Yes,
And
I
you were
had I
doing
had
very well.
3 major wins. I won Wisconsin State 3 years in a row, with
Okay.
actually, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. I take that
Two.
back. Retract. I only, I that was with my Glock.
Oh,
Oh, wow. I just sound like a retard now. But yeah, no,
that's good.
that the first couple years, yeah, I was with my Glock. I'm trying to think.
You had at least one win though.
Yes,
with the
yes,
M&P?
yes. My third
Mhm.
win was with the M&P stock barrel and everything. Yeah.
Okay. So you had at least one major win. You
Yep.
were doing well in majors. I made masterclass with it back in the day when I was shooting. I used to shoot more like when I worked at Vortex and things. And I used to do like a lot more distance work because it was so easy to do on like the 50-yard range. And dude, like I always shot the stock barrel. I made masterclass with the stock barrel. You made GM with the stock barrel. Guys, the stock barrel is fine. And some of
Mhm.
our friends, like even our good friend Donovan Moore, he disagrees. Like he feels like the Apex barrel is a must-have, and I respectfully disagree with that. I think that if that's holding you back from shooting, like you're doing yourself a disservice. Just go shoot.
Right.
The But I will say with the steel frame specifically, I do feel like the accuracy is a little bit better than on the
Mhm.
polymer frame. Do you find that at all?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be filming a YouTube video on this. I have
Okay.
5 stock M&P barrels, and I'm gonna be doing
Ah,
testing with them, all like polymer guns, and now my steel frame gun, my another steel frame gun, and I'm gonna actually test this out. Right. I'm probably gonna like buy a nice rest or try to get a rest from someone, do some actual like, accuracy testing with no input from me, and then maybe like practical accuracy testing where it's like, hey, let me shoot a
sure.
50-yard bill drill. And if I can get alphas or 40-yard bill drill, if I can get all alphas with a stock barrel, well, guess what? Right. However, like I do think the lockup feels tighter on the steel frame.
Yes.
And is that because they changed any other tolerances on the barrel, or is it just because it's steel and there's no I don't really know, right? That would be a question for the guys over at Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
But
It
I
definitely feels it has less like slide to frame
yes.
movement than the stock polymer one. And if you
Yep.
push on the barrel hood like this, which is a test that we do when we're looking at like a gunsmith fit barrel,
Mhm.
this has way less wiggle room
Yep.
than some of the other models. So
Mhm.
I do think now, are we seeing that on paper? It's hard to tell. But when I shot this, I didn't feel like there was any like, oh man, that's weird. That's a weird result that I'm getting. In fact, I would say it was the opposite. It was like more forgiving than what
Mhm.
I thought I maybe shot.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I shot this at 25 and 35 yards, a decent bit the other day, which I put in my video. And yeah, I'm impressed with it. I don't
Mhm.
see any reason to change that out. In terms of trigger, Apex is still just an absolutely huge upgrade, in my opinion. The flat
Mhm.
faced, huge upgrade. But like you were shooting yours with the stock trigger is fine. So if it's
Mhm.
like if you're waiting for it to be in stock, or if you're whatever, you're just saving up for it or whatever, like just go shoot it, go shred, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yep. And
shouldn't
what's
hold you
funny
back
is
that
that
much.
the actual trigger itself is not what I don't like, it's the weight. It's not the actual break. It's not the take up or the break, right? It's just the
Really?
fact that it's like 5 or 6 pounds, and it's like I'm used to a 3.5 pound trigger. And so
Yeah.
if there was a way to get a reduced trigger weight, whether that's just changing out the sear spring or whatever, like only, right? But if it was just a way to reduce the factory trigger weight from 5 or 6 pounds down to 3 or 4, honestly, like the stock trigger would be amazing. It'd be so good. I
Yeah.
personally love flat face triggers. I'm such a sucker for flat face triggers, but like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, Apex, I would throw in, just because I like it so much. But the barrel, it's like, yeah, I understand
It's fine.
QC is a thing. I get it. Like, there are definitely lemons and maybe some bad barrels that every company deals with. But and at the end of the day, also, we're both not saying that the Apex is not an upgrade. The Apex barrel is
It is.
100% an
Yes.
upgrade. You are going
Yes.
to get more accuracy. It is a gunsmith fit barrel. Like, oh my gosh, yes, this is elementary. Everyone knows gunsmith anything is going to be better.
Yes.
But like don't let that, hold you
Stop
back
you.
from yes, like if you're getting, 6-inch groups at 25 yards, maybe consider the possibility that it's you. I'm just gonna throw that
Yes.
out there. Just consider
Yes.
that, right?
And something I've seen a lot is people doing like their own accuracy testing, and they'll do like a video and they walk up and they're like, "Oh yeah, this flyer was me. This was me." Or their group is like huge at like 25 yards. And they're like, this is bench rested. I'm like, how though? Because
Right.
it's very, very shotgun. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
very, very bad, very, very D class. Um, so like not everybody's group testing is created equal. We'll say that,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like the people are still influencing the gun, cranking on the gun when they pull the trigger, slapping the trigger, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
And you can definitely be inaccurate, even trying to bench your gun on a sandbag or whatever it is. So,
Mhm.
like, I would just, again, like, not take everybody's collective experience as the gospel. Do your own experience, do your own testing, see what kind of results you're getting. And if you see a need for an upgrade or feel like an upgrade would treat you well, then go for it. But
Mhm.
I think Smith& Wesson knocked it out of the park with this thing. I'm super
Yep.
excited about it. I'm shooting it in carry optics, primarily, mostly because I don't have a Magwell for limited optics. But I did, like, my last match, the local I shot last weekend. I shot with this gun, no Magwell in limited optics, and it didn't make a difference. The classifier didn't even have a reload in it, which is great. Still shot like poop on it, but it was not the gun's fault. It was very, very my fault for shooting many Charlies. Very, very, like, 8 Charlies or something like that. Very bad. Um, but I'm excited about it. I'm gonna run it for the major match season. I know you are too. Are you gonna
Yep.
run it in PCSL as well?
Yes, I think.
Maybe?
I think so. I think running around with it on my hip while I'm, running and gunning with the rifle, I think is maybe something to consider. It may feel
Actually.
a little annoying,
Yeah.
but I'm for sure gonna be doing it at the PCSL GOAT in April.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that'll be a good test to kind of see, be like, okay, after having this thing in the holster more than it not being in the holster, I'm maybe getting a hot spot on my belt or something weird or crazy. Maybe I'll adjust that, but I think it'll be just fine. People have been using steel frame guns for a long time, so I think it'll be
Speaking
good.
of PCSL, the divisions, competition or practical, right? Irons or optics, basically. Like practical iron, right? Like practical irons, practical optics, and then like competition irons, competition optics. Is that the divisions, or is it just competition and practical and all of it's a dot?
In two gun, it's only competition practical.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
in PCSL one gun, I think there's maybe
Okay.
irons
Okay.
and sights division.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
But basically, you're either shooting basically a carry optics gun or a limited optics or open minor gun,
yeah, whatever gun
right?
you want. Yeah,
For
because there's no open
basically
or
whatever you
major.
want.
I'm sorry, there's no minor or major scoring in PCSL.
Correct.
Yeah, or at
So,
least
like,
two
for
gun.
instance, like you could run a Staccato XC or
Mhm.
like a Sandhawk or something like that in competition division.
Right.
So, what I am going to be doing, and I literally just shot one mag through it, and I was just blown away. But I have a slide that is ported with the dime bag port job from Monsoon Tactical. Wow. I threw that on this frame and it legit shoots like a 38 Super Comp, like 5 port open gun. Dude, I'm it is
Mm.
so good. So I'm very excited to, like, I'm gonna get a Magwell for this gun, so that I can throw some reloads because my reloads suck. But I'm gonna get a big Magwell for this thing and run this thing ported in at least my local PCSL matches here. Dude, I'm so excited because finally
I'm
we
so
have a
jealous.
reason to like shoot open minor basically
Mhm,
with
mhm.
PCSL, which is very fun. So, anyways, I'm very
I'm
excited about
so
that as well.
jealous. Yes, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I mean, if you're gonna be in competition division, like, game
Might
that
as well.
stuff, right? Like, just yeah.
Might as well. And
Also,
what's
like
fun, I think, is you're throwing these fast splits with the rifle already, like
yeah.
really fast splits at 10 yards, 12 yards, whatever with a rifle. Get the dot there, double it pretty fast.
Mhm,
It'd be fun to do that with pistol as well. Like just be able to
mhm.
throw the gun out there and at 15 yards, just going ham. I think it would be fun. So
Yes. And
looking forward to it.
I love that the steel frame is totally directly compatible with the polymer. I don't know if Smith& and Wesson,
Yes.
legally says that, but it is for sure. I could even throw my Apex barrel out of this one that's fitted for this polymer gun, and it even fits in my steel frame, so I could even do that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Very
cool.
good.
Now, going to the Magwell thing really quick, this is a question
Okay.
I've gotten a bunch of times. The Terran Tactical any mag extension, I would assume, but especially the Terran Tactical works with this gun. It works with the steel frame.
Extensions?
Yes, the Terran Tactical extensions work
Yes.
on this. Yes. And I would assume any other extension works on this, right? However, if you add the Magwell that comes with the competitor or the metal competitor, no go, at least for the Terrans. I don't know if the Henning ones.
It gets very stuck and very
Yes.
very jammed.
Very
Very
problem.
pliers
Ooh,
and
very
and
marks.
flathead screwdriver smashing through the
Oh,
top to get it out.
oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's not good.
not good.
Don't do
Not
that.
good. Do not do it.
What Magwell are you gonna throw on it? There's a
I'm
couple
getting
different
Floyd's.
options. Okay.
I'm getting Floyd's for sure. I
Yeah.
like the beveling of the Floyd's a lot better than the Terran. I've been running the Terran. I like the beveling of the Floyd's a lot better, and people will appreciate this because if you've listened to 55 minutes of us talk about a gun, you are still listening probably, and you care about gear. So I also just upgraded my base pads. I'm trying Henning base pads. I've never tried them before. And I think it's a newer design. I think because I remember seeing Henning base pads before. They were different design. Anyways, these are super good. What I like about the Terrans is they're super easy to take on and off and clean the mags. Not that I clean my mags very often, but it is nice to be able to switch that out. Some other designs from different companies like aren't my favorite. Like the new Floyd's ones are not my favorite in terms of just being able to remove the base pads easily. The new Hennings are super, super fast and they work with like all Magwell brands. So those Hennings fit in the Floyds, they fit in the Terrans, they fit in the Springers, they fit in the OEM. Like they are very compatible and they're super high quality. Anything Henning makes is very high quality, overbuilt. So that's what I'm using. I use them at the match. They're great. And they work super good in a Floyd's Magwell. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if they still make them or not, but at one point they were making a brass Magwell. That'd be very fun, maybe for the weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, that's what I'm going to do. What about you? Are you going to, well, Terran doesn't make one for the metal.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm used to running the Terran on my polymer and
Yeah.
I like it, but it has some weird beveling on the inside. It's contoured, just kind of odd. I don't understand it. Maybe there's some engineering things I just don't understand, but I have straight up have mags get caught in the Magwell at a weird angle. And I'm like, this is the entire purpose of a Magwell. Why are my mags getting caught? Like, and I don't know. I even took a file, like, don't tell anyone this, but I took a file and I just filed the inside of it, like every single side and every angle. And I'm like, I just filed the crap out of it to try and get rid of those weird contours. And so, anyways, so I probably wouldn't get that one again, even if they did make one. I think they buffed out a little bit because my reloads started getting better, but I might try the Floyd's one for the metal, or I don't know. We'll see if I can pick up a brass one from who makes the brass one. I can't remember. It's
Carver Customs.
Carver Customs. Yeah. Because I think Springer maybe makes a Magwell for the metal MMP. I can't remember exactly, but I don't know. The brass one would be cool, but it's not in stock last I looked. So
there's a few options, and again, the gun doesn't need any more weight. It's already balanced super well. But I think if you do add more weight in the grip, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be even a little bit better potentially. So yeah, we'll mess around. We'll keep you guys updated for sure. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. We're both going to end up with a couple of these, I think, to set up a couple of different ways. Probably a couple of them set up exactly the same for competition.
Maybe a little FDE Cerakote action going on.
Maybe a little monsoon.
Maybe first MMP competitor HD FDE out in the wild.
Yes, that would be very nice. Yeah, I have some plans for monsoon to do some magic.
Maybe some gateway,
maybe very orange trigger.
Gateway prospect maybe.
It's gonna be very good. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We won't keep you a whole lot longer, but I will say we want these episodes to be very easy for us to record. which means we're just sitting down. We're not worrying too much about production quality or anything like that. We're just trying to have the conversations that we typically have, share them with you guys, pass on some knowledge, maybe entertain you on your drive or commute to work, whatever it is, right? We want these to be easy to record. So we're probably going to address things that are probably pretty relevant for the week or the month or whatever it is. So if you have stuff that you want us to talk about and make a podcast on, we totally will. So drop that in the comments, drop us a like. These podcast episodes primarily are going to be posted to YouTube, and they're posted as a collab post. So that means they're going on both the Gateway Defense page as well as the Justin Shoots page. So please, if you're still listening to this, make sure you're subscribed to both channels, drop this video a like, and we will make sure these things keep coming as regularly and as often as we can, and give you guys some listening options for your commutes or sitting on the toilet or whatever you're doing right now. So, Justin, you got anything else before we close it out?
Remember, steel frame guns are not going to make you shoot better if you already suck at shooting. So
false. It'll make you a GM instantly.
All right. Yeah. So is Smith & Wesson writing you a check for that? Because if they are, then
checks.
I will also say that Smith & Wesson will, or I mean, the steel frame gun will make you a GM. You can send my check to.
No. You have to be very Michalek, Hunter, Jerry Michalek, or very Hunter Constantine.
Yes, not as cool as those individuals.
Us normies do not get that action, unfortunately.
No, not yet.
Everyone in the comments,
Smith & Wesson is
please
listening,
go right to Smith & Wesson and tell them to sponsor Brennan and Justin for the shooting team.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.